Gardevoirs, which is surprising when Gardevoir was the most popular deck and they won the highest conversion rate into day 2. But seems like at the very top, everyone knew was the deck to beat, right? So either you play it or you play something that has a lot of potential against it, and you're seeing all sorts of dark type Pokemon. You're seeing hyper aggression in the beginning turns, disruption with Judge Path. You have many ways to try and deal with this top strategy, which if left unchecked can run over you, but that's one of the many preparations you have to do as you head into a tournament like this one with a brand new set being released as well.
And we have seen this Arceus Duraludon VMAX deck change and take shape as the meta has evolved and progressed, especially in this Paldea evolved format, opting for a pretty good size of Umbreon VMAX line in the deck, 2-2, and trying to use that dark type to take advantage of the weakness from Gardevoir EX. Not really going to have to rely on that Skyscraper ability from Duraludon VMAX too much, although there is that one reversal energy.
Indeed. Now, the mean look from Umbreon V also potentially a crucial strategy against Gardevoir decks. However, Luke is ready for that with the copy of Switch. Not something you usually see. We've seen Penny, we've seen, I think that's it in terms of switching out for potential Gardevoir decks, but that one copy of Switch.
Oh no.
Ooh.
All right, this is starting pretty bad. If you know Gardevoir like we sure everyone does, plays 2 Gardevoir EX. Both of those beautiful alternate arts are sitting in the prize cards. That's not where you want them to be. And you even see down there in Christian's bottom right of the prize cards that Panic Mask specifically put in the deck to battle against this Gardevoir.
Yeah, Panic Mask a very good resource. Usually Gardevoir tries to go for 1 KOs, and that's what Panic Mask might either help avoid or immediately punish. But I wonder how Lucas will react, and even if he will continue to play this game if he once he realizes that both Gardevoir EXs are prized.
It is round 15, our last round of Swiss here at NAIC 2023. Let's get hyped, Pablo. One of these players looking to make it into top 8 and try to become our champion. Nestball to start things off. Going to find that Arceus V, but you want to prize check. Make sure you have everything you want for this game.
Key cards for this matchup for Christian. The Panic Masks that you mentioned. Lost City as well being very important to make sure you can take down those Ralts, Kirlias, and Gardevoirs and eliminate them forever from the field of play. And also, a very nice card that I noticed in Christian's deck is a 1 copy of Luminous Energy, this brand new energy that only provides a rainbow energy essentially, as long as it's the only special energy attached. Arceus V-Star will have a double true attached, so you won't mind losing that potential. However, when powering up your Duraludon or your Umbreon or even your Luminion, it can help power that up. So very nice inclusion. It's like a wild card energy of sorts that could come into play to help facilitate Christian attacking.
You're right. I do like that a lot, and I think that's something that we're going to see a lot going forward, especially when people get a look at these lists from this tournament. That 1 Luminous Energy providing a lot of utility. Meanwhile, Lucas is going to start things off. Manaphy in the active, Battle VIP Pass.
Now, Lucas did just play that Battle VIP Pass. He's looked many times through the deck. Puts a Cresselia in front. I'm not sure if he has realized. I know that Gardevoir EX is definitely not the first thing I check for in my prize cards as a Gardevoir player. You just assume at least 1 is in there, and getting that Ralt, getting that Greninja, I don't know if he notices the 2 Gardevoir EXs in the prize cards just yet.
Listen, we're gonna roar the sword a few turns and try to manually power up that Zacian V. We could take a prize. Take a prize.
See, I mean, maybe against the Alakazam, right? Reversal energy is a thing with Shiny Arcana as well. Roar of the Sword is already in the hand, so there is potential for that, absolutely. But what if you don't get it, right? Like, you're realistically only knocking out Alakazam. That's 1 prize card. That's a 1 in 6 chance of finding one of your 2 Gardevoir EXs. It's not in your favor, right? So realistically, will you be able to accomplish it? I don't know if Lucas is very determined that he can still KO these high HP Pokemon without Gardevoir, or if he's just going to commit to try to find one of them.
Well, we do see a Roar of the Sword. 2 energy now on that Zacian V. Ready to go for next turn. And hey, you got 33% chance to get that Gardevoir EX from the prize cards if my percentages work out.
Yeah,
it's probably not going to happen, but we'll have to see.
Probably not. I just think on average, like if you're doing less than 50% plays overall, if you continue to do that right over the course of 10 games, for example, you're gonna lose 7 and win 3, right? So you don't want to do plays that are lower than 50%, because if you continue to do it that way, then the trend is that you're gonna lose more often than you win. Of course, that's not always the play. Sometimes you just have to go for those super low percentage plays, but I feel like you're more likely to just be able to win 2 games if you, once you realize it. Yeah, that's the other thing. We don't know what Lucas is thinking. We are not in his mind. And like I said, I've been playing for 20 years, and I don't immediately check for my 2 Gardevoir EXs. You just assume they're there. The first things you check are how many energies did I prize, how many Ralts are available to me, supporters perhaps, rare candies, but not usually the full Pokemon line, just because time is of essence, right? And it's important to check your prizes, but you don't need to figure out all 6 immediately.
Meanwhile, Christian has had a stellar turn here. Adventurous Discovery, searching your deck for 3 Pokemon V, put them in your hand. That can search for V-Star as well, so Arceus V-Star coming down and immediately using that Star Birth to search out for 2 cards. Looks like Iono and, or no, maybe Law? I can't really tell. It was Escape Rope for one of them.
Yeah, Escape Rope's the key card here. Anything's better.
It was the Iono.
Knocking on the Manaphy. Iono also a pretty cool card. Don't want to play anything else before the Escape Rope. Don't even give your opponent the information that you have the energy, even though it's pretty obvious. The less information you give to your opponent, the better. And choosing to promote the routes, which is pretty surprising. Another interesting thing to note about Lucas's list is that he is running one of the Scarlet and Violet routes instead of the Memory Skip routes, which is not something that we are used to seeing. Umbreon bringing up that station, preventing station from 2-hit KOing the Arceus V-Star, and Christian doesn't know it, but that's so impactful when you prize 2 Gardevoir EXs. Lucas might not know it either, right? But he might be about to find out.
Honestly, I think this is the point where you concede, go into the next game. 180 damage on that Zacian V, thanks to Umbreon VMAX. And the door is closing on this game 1 for Lucas, especially that Battle VIP Pass top deck here.
Right. We do see Rare Candy and Ultra Ball in Lucas's hand. So either he finds out now and scoops immediately. No, just going for Shiny Arcana. Okay, so I feel like if you are aware that there's no Gardevoir EX in your deck, your plan is to use Station V, 2-hit KO the Arceus that cannot KO you, check your 2 prizes, see if a Gardevoir EX is in there, and you continue to play. But if you haven't realized it just yet, that could be the big problem. Now this Zacian is already pre-damaged, right? So it's only gonna get 1 attack off. So now it's on the reversal energy to do something. Yeah, get those back-to-back attacks, which is still possible, but now you're playing to a one-off card, right? How are you going to find that one-off card? Refinement is good, Shining Arcana is good, but they're not Raihan, they're not teammates, right? So how do you find those cards?
Well, it was a pretty good sequence of plays for Lucas here. Rare Candy, that Gardevoir, Shining Arcana, found a Curlia. Curlia found an Energy. The Energy with concealed cards found Professor's Research, which found another Energy, so at least you can attack with Storm Slash and the Zacian V, get 150 damage on that Arceus. And now it is Christian's time to shine, has that Lost City. That Zacian V is going away forever for this game, straight to the Lost Zone.
Indeed. Now I do like Lucas's optimism. This Iono potentially gets Lucas closer to the reversal energy that he could use to try and unlock a Gardevoir EX. I mean, maybe Lucas is super hopeful, right? And super optimistic that he's going to be able to get there. But time is very important, right? Both players in a win-and-in situation. A tie make sure that neither player makes top 8. So it's in your best interest to make sure you're getting a full set of games here.
Yeah, it would be different if both of these players were at 34 match points, because then a tie has the possibility to get him in. Both of these players are sitting at 33. So really needing that win. There's the Trinity Nova taking the knockout. Zacian goes to the Lost Zone, powers up that Umbreon VMAX and that Umbreon V on the bench. And it is do or die time for Lucas here. Brings up that Gardevoir. Needs to find that reversal energy. Like you were saying, does have Iono in the hand.
The deck has not been shuffled. There's a lot of cards that are not reversal energy in the bottom. So we could see an Iono in order to dig deeper, but first card is Super Rod. So now the chances of finding the reversal energy drastically decrease. There's also a chance to establish energies in play through the use of 2 Shining Arcanas. That does mean you need to get like a lot of hits here. But
thin the deck out of any card that isn't energy, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. That way, Shining Arcana has the chance. You do need to hit 2 though, which is easier said than done, that's for sure.
You just said it, so.
Yeah, that's the easy part,
Yeah.
exactly. Now it's on Lucas to actually pull it off.
Refinement, discard, switch. Finds an energy.
Deals the switch. Now, there's Ultra Ball. I'm fairly sure that refinement was in preparation of the Gardevoir EX. No.
Well, the
Okay.
Gardevoir. There's no Gardevoir yet.
Right. So, like, if Lucas didn't know that both of them were prized, that immediate search definitely tells me that Lucas is aware, right? So, he's very optimistic that he can still pull this off regardless. Regardless. Exactly. We are inventing words for the English language today.
That's pretty much how it was invented in the first place.
That is true. That is true.
Fog Crystal finds that last Ralts from the deck. Again, thinning out every card that isn't an energy. There's the Iono. And to the bottom, we're going to see 6 cards off the top. Reversal energy needed for the knockout here, at least.
At least, as we mentioned. And then it's unlocking Guardy EX time from the prize cards. There's an extra 6 cards that Lucas can access with double Shining Arcana plus Refinement. I definitely don't want to shuffle the deck for any reason at this point in time in order to make sure that you maximize the chances of drawing into the reversal. There's the Refinement for an extra 2 cards.
Oh, there's so many energy already used and in hand. 5 Psychic in the discard, at least 3 in hand.
I choose to Super Rod back energies. Nope.
No reversal yet.
Is it prized? It's not prized, right?
It is not prized.
That would be brutal. The double Gardevoir EX and the reversal, not prized. So Super Rodding back energies, maximize the chance of Shining Arcana. I do like that, but I still question, like, the odds of you pulling this off are not very high, and your follow-up, right? You're going to be tied in prizes, sure. Your opponent must have an inkling at this point in time, given your sequencing, given your putting energies back into the deck, which Gardevoir wants the opposite, right? Gardevoir EX. You probably don't want that happening as a Gardevoir EX player, so Christian must know that there's 2 Gardevoir EXs missing right now.
And now with the level ball with the Curlia, cannot evolve it. That Ralts just came down. Here's the Shining Arcana, finds 1 energy. Second Shining Arcana, finds another.
Finds it, wow.
And with both of those, the attachment for the turn will be able to Brainwave, take the knockout. Do we see the Gardevoirs taken? No.
No Gardevoir EX is unlocked as of yet. Now, Lucas definitely pulled this one off. But how does he get more KOs? Reversal Energy Boss KO on Alakazam, perhaps? There is a triple prize Pokemon available for him to knock out. So if he manages that and then manages a one-shot on the 3 prize Pokemon, that is one way. But now the Gardevoir goes to the Lost Zone, not to the discard pile. Very important.
No stadium bump.
Yep. And I think Lucas had an Artisan in his hand to try and take away that Lost City. Yeah, there's the Artisan, so it could have been a good card to play down to prevent this from happening. I really admire Lucas' optimism, though. I would have scooped after realizing it. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have realized it on my first search, but once I did, I would have been like, nope. Once I don't hit the Gardevoir EX from the first two prizes, that's when I'm scooping.
Level ball here, trying to thin out a little bit on the bottom of the deck. That reversal energy does not want to come out and play. We're going to game 2. It just was unable, showing off the double Gardevoir EX in the prize cards. Christian, able to steal one, if you can say that. Like, it's still an okay matchup. You got that Umbreon, you got some gameplay, but when your opponent is not able to just execute their strategy, it always feels a little bit bad for them. And still good for you. You won. One more win away from top 8.
One win away from top 8. I really do have to wonder, though. Like, Lucas didn't immediately concede when he didn't hit the Gardevoir EX. He tried his best. He had another opening, right? He still had Shiny Arcana. He still had Refinement to hit the reversal plus a boss to unlock another prize card and then finish off the game. So at that point, you stuck through it. Your opponent's not like super close to winning, so why not just go for it, right? Reversal energy, you are behind in prize cards, take down that Alakazam, see what happens, right? Give yourself another chance, or save yourself 15 minutes. I also noticed that Lucas was playing like a search card, shuffling, giving the deck to Cod, and then using another search card, right? Which is the proper way to do things, but also when you're in a situation like this, you really want to finish the game, you can definitely try to combine your searches to save a little bit of time, right? A little bit of shuffling. That way you move forward with the game, especially when you're in a dire situation as well.
One thing though, when you are trying to do that, you always want to be clear in your communication for what you are doing to you, to the judge. You do not want any missteps to go on, because the only thing worse than tying here is having penalties. No one wants to see that.
No one wants to see that. I think we
is that the Panic Mask mulligan there?
Have we had any like double prize penalties of the sort?
It's like you just walked into the hospital and said it's quiet in here. Pablo, you cannot do that, all right?
I'm sorry, I'm new. I'm a noob. A commentating noob.
One Gardevoir EX in the prize cards along with the Waltz. Hey, there's still one.
Right,
still
exactly.
hope.
It's not ideal, but previous game was worst case scenario. This is completely fine. Lucas will also most likely go first, be able to establish a board before Christian can even attack. Gets lucky and can potentially get an attack off before Christian, so we'll see. Hopefully a much more back and forth interesting game than the previous one, which Lucas did everything he needed to do, right? But unfortunately didn't hit that Gardevoir EX from the prize cards.
Game 2 ready and underway. Lucas starts. Ralts has Fog Crystal Level Ball in hand, so we could see that Mew from Celebrations come out, try to find a Battle VIP pass. And he took a moment to tell Christian, don't worry, I got a Gardevoir EX in my deck.
Yeah, I mean, that's good to let your opponent know that you'll actually put up a much better fight this time around. Checking his prizes very thoroughly. So yeah, I mean, given the actions last game, I'm sure Lucas knew from the very first search that both Gardevoir EXs were prized, still played it out, and I mean, he was definitely close to winning the game if he had access to a Gardevoir EX. Unfortunately, he did not. And we are going to see that Mew, Jeremy, that you mentioned. Look for that Battle VIP pass, give yourself a chance, and see if you can advance your game state in a much more decisive manner with it.
Now just requiring a switch or an energy to retreat. Get that Mew in the active spot. It does need to be in the active spot to use that Mysterious Tail, but there's that energy. And we'll take a look at the top 6 here. Battle VIP Pass is the number 1.
Desired
what do we
card.
find? All right, we got Level Ball.
I'm pretty sure there was a Fog Crystal
yeah.
as well. I think Fog Crystal would have been a better choice right there. I mean, Fog Crystal can be good late game to find Zacian. However, early on, those level balls, you want them to be Curious. And there's another level ball, especially in the hand. So I don't know. Definitely, um, maybe the pace of play, like the time pressing on Lucas's mind to make that slightly hasty decision, maybe not paying attention enough to the choices and just grabbing the top card, but certainly something that not right now, probably not next turn, but down the line could affect some of the options that Lucas has. Yeah, maybe having that fog crystal later down the line is actually more valuable in terms of finding an energy to discard, finding the Sasha to take a KO. Many things could lead from this decision.
Christian, even though starting that Duraludon V, does have a nest ball to find Arceus V. There is also Adventurer's Discovery in hand, which can find 3 Pokemon V from the deck. That can be used to find that V-Star if you want. Even just your Umbreon Vs to get them down so you can utilize your Umbreon VMAX early like we saw last game.
I think it's pretty funny or ironic that Adventure's Discovery was released quite a while ago, but it didn't start seeing realistically a lot of play until EXs got released, right? A card that specifically searches for Pokemon V. It's very powerful. Searching for 3 cards is always very good, especially when your Pokemon have such fantastic abilities like Arceus V-Star, like Umbreon VMAX, like Duraludon VMAX, but certainly not something that we had seen before, at least in standard Arceus Duraludon decks, and it's probably one of the ripple effects from rotation that we are seeing.
Yeah, really hard to find those evolution Pokemon. No evolution incense like we used to have. And I think it's just due to the fact that the format has slowed down a little bit with those EX Pokemon. A lot of them that are good are stage 2s. Gardevoir EX, for example, get a little bit more time to try to find those cards. And being able to search for Umbreon VMAX and Arceus V-Star along with that Duraludon VMAX. And that means you have 3 less cards out of the deck that aren't good draws, and you can continue to do what your game plan is. Lucas, though, going to start things off. Mysterious Tail does not find anything, and that's a little bit rough.
A little bit rough indeed. Would have loved to find a level ball, even a Fog Crystal, just to thin the deck, right? Ultra Ball could have been useful as well. And Lucas does have a Professor's Research in hand, so he will be able to have some sort of play that Temple of Sinnoh will force Christian to counter it if he wants to attack with Trinity Nova next turn with Arceus V-Star. So not only does Christian need an Arceus V-Star and an energy and a switching card, now he also needs a stadium to counter that. So could see some effect of that card being played.
Hey, look, reversal energy found its way into the hand. The game too late, but it's there.
A little bit late for that reversal, as you mentioned. 1 refinement available, which has already been used.
Yeah, I believe it's already been used. No other Curlia available to Lucas. Benches that Zacian V with an energy and uses Roar of the Sword to get another one. And wow, look at Christian's hand. Arceus V-Star already. You have Panic Mask. You have that Umbreon VMAX. This will bring up that Zacian yet again. Dark Signal putting in the work. Panic Mask on that Umbreon VMAX. Probably the best place to put it on because you're going to be using that to take the knockouts on Gardevoir EXs. And then there's that Professor's Research. Drawing 7 cards. Still has access to Starburst. It's looking like Temple of Sinnoh is not going to stick.
Yeah, most certainly. Christian can now directly search for the switching card in the stadium, which is exactly what we're going to see. Not going to go for the escape rope this time around, as that's why we saw the Umbreon VMAX pull up the Zacian right here. And yeah, off to a great start for Christian. I want to emphasize how Christian should not be benching any other Pokemon for the rest of the game. He has the perfect setup to potentially force Lucas to need 8 prize cards this turn, 2 from Arceus, 3 from Umbreon VMAX, 3 from Duraludon VMAX. That's the dream of Arceus players. Force your opponent to have to play to more than 6 prizes, need the resources to KO 8 instead of 6, which for Gardevoir, it's not that big of a problem, but for something like Lost Box, it can be really problematic as the game goes on.
A lot of HP, a lot of big bodies to move around. And Trinity Nova, 180 damage, eyeing down some energy. Looks like 2 dark and a metal. This is where splitting the energy gets a little rough too, because the Duraludon VMAX requires very specific energy types. That 2 metal, 1 fighting.
Now, Umbreon does have the slight bit of protection from the Panic Mask. It definitely makes it a less enticing target at this point in time. There's nothing Lucas can do about that, so that should come into play at some point, unless Lucas preemptively attacks the Umbreon VMAX. However, that's where Panic Mask has fulfilled its function, right? If you get one shot, you punish them. If you don't get one shot, well, that's fantastic, right? Your Pokemon didn't actually go down.
Refinement here discards that Battle VIP pass, 2 cards for Lucas. Drew into a boss's orders. Discards Manaphy now for the second refinement. Finds that Gardevoir EX. Not sure how many basic energy are in the discard. It looks like 1.
I think I saw 2.
Oh, 2,
yeah.
all right.
So not a lot going in there. The 2 refinements early on, you would definitely be wanting to put those into a discard pile. Lucas definitely would like to find at least 1 more, but already the Gardevoir EX in play for the first time in the series. Gonna be able to...
Oh no, almost bossed up the Umbreon.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have been a little bad. Wouldn't be able to do anything to that Panic Mask.
Indeed. Now, Lucas recognizing that, even though Christian would like to force Lucas into taking down the Arceus and then the 2 VMAXs, if Lucas just takes down the 2 VMAXs, that's the 6 prizes, right? And Lucas does place 3 boss's orders, so if he goes boss attack this Duraludon, then boss attack again, and then boss KO the Umbreon VMAX, that could be a path to victory, but that is definitely easier said than done at this point. And we do see that Cresselia hit the board off this Artisan. Could Cresselia be a way to sort of bypass Panic Mask in some situations? Maybe.
I think if anything, like this would have been the turn to try and do that. That's where you boss up the Umbreon, maybe spread some damage, hope it sticks. But it is just going to be a Storm Slash for 150 damage on that Duraludon VMAX. And Christian is going to start things off with an Iono. Not going to disrupt any of the players, really. Both players still have 6 prize cards remaining. So just a refresh of the hand. And we do see an escape rope here.
Yeah, escape rope being super, super clutch here, as you definitely wouldn't have wanted, or probably can't even afford to retreat that Duraludon VMAX to not have it exposed in the active, because you are hard pressed on the energies, but the escape rope will allow that Duraludon to get back to safety on the bench and allow Arceus to continue wrecking. However, that will also mean that the Zacian survives, so perhaps not the best situation ever. And yeah, we are actually going to see the retreat.
All right, I guess escape rope is going to push that Zacian down to the bench, kind of keep it around, keep an attacker for Lucas. Here we do see that Painful Spoons moving a little bit of damage away because you're going to take the knockout anyway. Might as well. And there's that Trinity Nova building up the Pokemon yet again. And it looks like too dark and a fighting. Does it all just go on the Umbreon VMAX now?
No, I know that Christian put that damage on the Kirlia like fairly quickly. It didn't seem like he thought it through too much, but it's actually so smart because Gardevoir with the Shiny Arcana ability and Brainwave attack can potentially get to some one-hit KOs, but that usually requires attaching 6 energies to it through Gardevoir EX. That 20 damage immediately means there's 1 less energy potential from the Gardevoir EX onto that Kirlia, right? So by moving that damage under, that excess damage that the Zacian had, there's now less of a chance of the Kirlia getting pressured or getting attacked, or getting to attack an Arceus V-Star for a one-shot. And the longer the game goes on, the more attacks Christian's Pokemon can take on, then the more likely it is that he'll be victorious.
This Mysterious Tail has the option between Rare Candy and Level Ball. Lucas opts for that Level Ball, so we're going to see a Kirlia here get another refinement going. I think this is the turn we're probably using Cresselia, unless we have a pretty good Shining Arcana.
Well, the thing is, Cresselia, like, it will do something, right? But you won't take a KO. Healing off the damage, potentially good to allow the Shining Arcana Gardevoir to take a one-shot down the line. However, Christian will be getting closer to winning. Yeah, Christian essentially wins in 4 turns. Yeah, so Lucas needs to start dealing some damage, taking some KOs. The Alakazam being in play actually opens up a path to victory for Lucas to knock out the Arceus, knock out the Duraludon, and knock out the Alakazam for 6 prizes instead of playing to 8. So even though the sneaky 2 damage counters on the Kirlia were pretty nice, they could end up not mattering, and that Alakazam could be the key for Lucas this game.
Holding the key, but I don't know. He's holding spoons right now.
The battle of the clef key and the spoons.
That's one card we haven't really seen a lot either, is Klefki in this metagame. Definitely has its uses, but has been nowhere. Concealed cards there, discards a Psychic Energy. Building up those energies yet again in the discard, not as much as you'd like to see. But we still got a little bit more opportunity here. Refinement though, discarding a level ball. Finds Iono, Rare Candy. Nothing too much. Here's the Shining Arcana, finds a Super Rod. Oh, it looks like another Gardevoir.
Yep, another Gardevoir. Shining Arcana is what we need in order to get this one shot. No bosses orders. Has a supporter been played? I've been a little preoccupied with the prize path that I'm not so sure if a supporter has been played. A lot of cards in hand, but no one-hit KO here. I mean, it would be okay-ish, but a boss KO on the Gardevoir EX perhaps from Christian, that would really sentence the game. But there's the boss's orders. There we go. Lucas does have a path to victory that involves taking 3 prizes right now. With the Shining Arcana, we have 3. We have another potential 3 here. Should go into the Arceus though to prevent that, but then Lucas can potentially go boss KO on the Alakazam. So,
hey, you said it earlier, you did not want to see Christian bench another Pokemon, but that Radiant Alakazam does open up a little bit of breathing room for Lucas to try to take this game back from the clutches of defeat. Here's a Super Rod after charging up that Gardevoir, ready to take the knockout. Zacian going back in the deck, and that was so important, having that stadium bump for the Lost City. That means you're able to use this Zacian yet again. We have seen some of the Australian lists use 2 Zacian V. This list only going with the 1. So now still having access to it. Still hope.
Yeah, this game might come down to Christian's disruption. After this Gardevoir does go down, there will only be 1 Kirlia and 1 Radiant Greninja, which is conditional draw, so not necessarily easy to recover from an Iono, from a Judge. But yeah, this Alakazam, I cannot emphasize enough how much that Alakazam could prove to be difficult for Christian, or could prove to be Christian's issue at winning this game. There's always a possibility of just boss KO Umbreon, right?
Yeah.
That works too. However, it's nowhere near guaranteed. So now Christian realizes this, and now the bench is full of potential targets. We definitely are opening up win conditions at this point. Lucas is almost 1 boss away from winning as well, and that's where the 3 bosses that he does play factor a lot.
Having access to multiple bosses orders really does help, especially facing down an Iono to 3. You're going to be losing that Gardevoir in the active with that Shining Arcana, only having access to 1 refinement and that concealed cards, like you said. Still going to need a lot. We'll have to see how this Iono works out for both players here, but Christian pretty much has everything to win on board. Meanwhile, Lucas needs to draw some cards to try to make things happen. Another Lost City, though.
One important thing that happened last turn is the Super Rod got played, and therefore the Zacian was put back and Zacian was just found. So Lucas is 1 boss's orders away. I'm not sure if that might be priced or not. I'm fairly certain there's only been 2 played so far.
Yeah,
but
not on the prize cards.
Not on the prize cards. So Zacian boss KO would be enough. The Zacian would be returned KO'd by that panic mask if I'm not mistaken, or am I thinking of the box of treasure?
You got them reversed. The Panic
I've
Mask,
got it reversed.
I believe it prevents the damage if the Pokemon has 40 HP or less, so it's even worse for Lucas here. Still needs to find two separate knockouts.
All right, 2 separate knockouts. Now there's plenty of targets. Once that Alakazam hit the bench, now it doesn't matter what other Pokemon gets KO'd after this session, right? But now the question becomes, does Lucas have enough energies in the discard pile to get this one shot on the Arceus? I imagine he does, but that will mean 9 energies. No, it's 8 energies.
Yeah. 8 energy. I do believe there is enough in there. And having the knockout here on the active is great because then it saves that last boss's orders for that Radiant Alakazam or that Lumineon V to have that Gardevoir EX take the knockout. And with that 8 energy in the active spot, Storm Slash will be enough to take the knockout.
Now, is Panic Mask 40 HP remaining or 30 HP remaining?
Listen, we have the card, but we have to put it in after. So I guess we're going to find out once the players play.
I'm fairly sure it's 30. It might be 40, right? If it is 40, these 2 damage counters now on Mew can be moved to the Zacian, and that would prevent the Zacian from attacking. So then how many energy left over would Lucas actually have in order to win? I mean, it still comes down to a boss's orders.
It is 40.
But it is 40,
yeah.
Okay. So the 2 damage counters on this Mew could be moved to the Zacian, and that could be a problem for Lucas. It comes down to, does Christian know there's a 3rd boss's orders? Did I miss the 3rd boss's orders getting discarded or played at some point? I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to see. Yeah, will even Christian consider this?
I don't think Christian has a hand to really consider anything. You just have to play the cards as they lie. Gardevoir EX to the active spot. There's a boss's orders in hand. Gardevoir EX able to take the knockout. Lucas able to tie things up going into game 3 now. Playing around the Panic Mask, and Christian, the disruption, that Iono didn't net him anything else. Had an Umbreon VMAX that was potentially able to be found, but I think it was in the prize card still.
Yeah, I think so.
No availability to gust up that Gardevoir EX, take the knockout. What a game.
What a game indeed. That was, I don't know. I was painting all over the screen and I was doing all this analysis. Came down to boss, as a lot of games usually do. There was the potential for some trickiness, but that Alakazam that was potentially useful, trying to make the most out of the damage that was in play. If that had not been benched, then, I mean, the boss KO is still available at some point, but I don't know, perhaps it's just a little more complicated. It's definitely much harder to KO a 310 HP Pokemon than a 120 HP Pokemon.
I think I have to start calling you Pablo Picasso now. How many arrows and circles you're drawing on this board.
I was definitely inspired by Adam's segment of Bob Ross. I'm being the...
Did you get it?
I'm being the anti-Bob Ross here, though. However, with all my circles and straight arrows, definitely not the free trees that we get to see, the free drawing from the Cubone and whatnot. But yeah, looking forward to this game 3.
We have a game 3, but there's 13 minutes to try to finish it. Like you said, a tie knocks both these players out of contention for top 8. We'll have to see if they have some sort of agreement worked out. A lot of players try to decide on the board state, the prizes taken. You really need to try to do stuff. And wow, double Umbreon VMAX in the prize cards. You should be able to grab at least one of those with a couple Trinity Novas from Arceus, but starting the Umbreon, a little bit rough.
Especially the one in the bottom should be accessible. Volo is another card that we have not seen come into play at all. I wonder how much actual use has been given to that Volo. It's always a card that I keep seeing in lists, and I think it's like on paper potentially very good, but how do you find it at the right time? Like after you've exhausted your V-Star, finding specific cards in this deck like that you can't directly search for, such as Pokemon, is really difficult. So if you're not playing multiple copies, it's just really hard to justify their inclusions. But solid start for Christian, has the golden Arceus plus energy, which you pull that off on turn 1, you're feeling pretty good in the rest of the game.
Yeah, looking through the list, actually, a lot of the times when we see Arceus Duraludon decks, they max out on a lot of their supporters just so they can guarantee it. They're not playing cards like B-Barrel to help draw through. But the way Christian's built the deck, it's 2 of basically every supporter. Oh, we just saw an attached pass, but you got the energy on Arceus V. It's all right, Christian. That's all you need right now. Lucas, meanwhile, starts the Mew and has that Battle VIP pass. This could be a pretty explosive turn 1.
Yeah, actually, he's holding a second Battle VIP pass already in hand, plus an Iono, so the potential to not even need the Mew to fully set up. Could use it after the Iono to just make sure you dig for those level balls to establish the Curious afterwards. So honestly, the dream start for Lucas. And with the Radiant Greninja established, even if Christian goes for an escape rope, losing their Greninja is not ideal, but it's better than losing a Ralts on turn 2.
I think Lucas is debating that Spiritomb here. With its ability, it could lock out Luminous Sign from Luminion V, which is a way to grab something like Adventurer's Discovery, but opts for that Zacian V here off that Battle VIP pass. You can at least end the turn with Roar of the Sword, try to set up a big attack. But the past 2 games, Christian has Boss's Orders up or Dark Signaled this Zacian V and just dealt damage to it.
Indeed. Now we do have the extra knowledge that Darkness Signal is not available for Christian this game, making this play potentially even stronger. No item found though for the Mew, so, and no energy attachment either. That could be problematic, leading to a turn 2 attack.
No energy attachment, no energy for concealed cards. That was probably one of the worst Ionos we've seen in a while.
Iono is good.
I don't know about that.
It's not a guarantee ever in the game now. It does seem like it did its job though.
Yeah,
Christian's hand is not looking too hot here.
It's looking very cold. No Arceus V-Star, just the Boss's Orders. And we're gonna mean look take the knockout. It seems like, yep, Mew weak to dark. 60 damage. This Umbreon taking the knockout does not grab that Umbreon VMAX.
Does not grab the Umbreon VMAX, and that Volo probably wishing it was a different sort of draw supporter. Nothing to help Christian here, reliant on the top deck, and Lucas getting rid of Rare Candy, which is a sort of like nice indication that there won't be a Gardevoir EX, but immediately gets the next one. And so in a very nice spot, does play the Iono though, before they refine it, which I like. You do have the information that Christian's hand is not very good, is not holding that key Arceus V-Star. However, you know if you set up, you have the better price trade. You have the possibility to one-hit KO as opposed to your opponent. You have the better price trade-off, so I like this, prioritizing your setup. I'm sure a lot of players would have questioned that play. Why are you helping your opponent out? Well, sure, but I'm also helping myself out, right? I'm going to have such a strong start off of this, such, I don't know, such potential to do damage here. However, that Iono being quite weak once again, those energies really lacking for Lucas.
Yeah, it's always bad when you don't have an energy attachment. You have to search with Roar of the Sword twice just to get your 2 energy in play. Only 1 in the discard, so Psychic Embrace not able to do much of anything. And that was a good opportunity to actually try and take the knockout on that Umbreon V if enough energy were available. Christian, out of this hand from Iono, has a Nest Ball. It's not going to be too good here, but able to thin the deck out a little bit. Again, see what's prize, you already know. Not the first time we've been through this deck already.
Not the first time indeed. Now, once again, Christian benching an extra Pokemon, right? So now there's a path to knock out 6 lower HP or 3 lower HP Pokemon. There might be a path to knock out 2 VMAXs in order to accomplish a win. So those extra bench Pokemon it does thin a card, right? And there's definitely merit to it, but I don't know. You know, if you can force your opponent to play to 8 prices, that's the dream, right? And Geraldton VMAX is not necessarily easy to KO, as the Arceus is just applying pressure, applying pressure, applying pressure. So I don't know, you know.
Now, Umbreon V, I do believe, has 2 retreat costs. Looking for the switch here or an escape rope. Starburst, you can find that escape rope now. There was also the opportunity to buy a couple turns. You can mean look the Manaphy and then maybe move some damage with Radiant Alakazam, get set up, but honestly, if you give Lucas more time to set up too, that's also really bad.
Yeah, exactly. By the time you knock something out, Lucas will have gone crazy with the energies. Maybe that's a play for the late game, though.
Maybe.
Like, once Lucas is down, his Ionos, Lucas
already
is down
the switch.
Super Odds, already down the switch, exactly. That's the key card, right? Which, I mean, Christian might be wondering, well, is Lucas playing more than one switch? I would definitely take an educated guess, if I were Christian, that he only has one, right?
With that escape rope, Zacian V gets brought to the active spot, and Trinity Nova, 180 damage. I feel like I've said that once or twice already this match.
I'm honestly not the biggest fan of promoting the Zacian. Sure, Christian doesn't get a knockout, but if you just let go of the Greninja perhaps, then your Zacian has the potential to get 2 attacks against this Arceus or force Christian into something more awkward to attack with, forces a discard of the energy. I don't know, you know?
Refinement discards Battle VIP Pass, concealed cards, discards and energy. Refinement discards another one. Found a Shining Arcana Gardevoir there. And now with a couple more energy in the discard, actually cobble together at least some damage. I don't know if we're going to get an actual knockout though.
Yeah, needs 6 energy total in the discard pile, plus 1 more attachment from turn, plus the 1 already established on Gardevoir to get there. So not quite there yet, but could also find the reversal. The reversal energy could be the key card here to allow Lucas to take this return KO on the Arceus and set himself up very nicely for the late game.
1 to the active with that Psychic Embrace. Now you can retreat. And also, yeah, there's that Gardevoir into the active spot. Hoping to charge up a big Brainwave. How many energy do we have available? And 4, so 5. That means it's going to be 210 damage. We need that reversal energy. I guess we got a boss's orders.
Yeah, boss's orders, KO Umbreon. Definitely a solid play right here. Of course, if you can ideally knock out the powered up Pokemon that's attacking you, that's great, right? But this is good enough, gets the first 2 prizes, and you know Arceus is probably going to be attacking you. And after this has happened, right, if this Umbreon does not evolve, there's another path to victory. But there's a knockout on the Zacian. Very, very nice with the Radiant Alakazam.
So there was a route to victory with the mean look. It required attaching a double turbo energy as well with that Radiant Alakazam. Ooh. But there was not enough time left in this match.
That is actually very true. That would have been quite the play. That would have been really impressive to see pulled off, for sure.
Now with that knockout, Christian does find that Umbreon VMAX and will have access to Dark Signal now. And that was all thanks to that Radiant Alakazam. Painful Spoons moving that 20 damage. Still have an attack for the turn, and this is a huge turn, and honestly might help Christian seal this thing up.
This is definitely a huge turn. We have the Umbreon, it could get powered up. We could see that ability is so crucial. You need the Umbreon to one-hit KO the Gardevoir EX. You also need the ability of Umbreon to KO that Gardevoir EX, but if you don't evolve the Umbreon, then it could be at risk of getting KO'd. So a lot of mind games happening right here. A lot of advanced calculations in order to try to figure out the rest of the game. We are close to running out of time, but these Pokemon are worth so many prizes that I'm fairly sure we will be able to determine a winner in the extra turns here.
Christian debating playing this judge, has access to cards like Luminion in hand. No supporter played for the turn yet, so both players shuffle their hand in, draw 4. Christian's going to be able to charge up that Umbreon VMAX with the remaining energy in the deck. From there, you're going to need a Boss's Orders to try to take down that Gardevoir EX. But with cards like Luminion V and Ultra Ball, you can have access to it. And Panic Mask is huge.
It is huge. 40 HP or less remaining, as you mentioned. The way to KO this Arceus, though, could be through Assassin, and it only needs 8 energy, so it would have 60 HP left. So the return KO with Gardevoir is definitely avoided, however, but not with the Assassin.
With the Trinity Nova, that dark energy and metal find its way onto Umbreon VMAX. And Lucas promotes that Kirlia is going to have to try to figure something out with a Gardevoir, the Shining Arcana, trying to brainwave, take a knockout. 40 seconds left in this game 3. Christian, after the shuffle, will get a prize. So 2 prizes left, just needs a Boss's Orders to take the game and lock up a top 8 spot. But as of right now, it seems like Lucas is just trying to hang on by a thread.
Lucas definitely has the possibility to evolve into Shining Arcana, go boss, and knock out the Umbreon VMAX. So this is the key Pokemon right here. If it goes down this turn, it's going to be very difficult for Christian to lock up the game. But if Umbreon survives and Christian is able to find a Boss's Orders to take down the Gardevoir EX with that Umbreon, that will be the game. And as we finish time in the round,
that means Lucas is turn 0 and 3 more additional turns after that.
That's the key play right there for Christian next turn. The key play for Lucas is using Shining Arcana to take down Umbreon with a boss. That requires reversal energy. That requires Boss's Orders.
We found the Boss's Orders off the first refinement, the reversal energy off the concealed cards. We have the Gardevoir in hand.
So what's missing?
Shining Arcana found an energy as well.
Energy. Attaches to the Gardevoir EX.
Hand still on it. You take it back. But once your hand leaves,
gonna double check everything. We are in time. Both players in a win and in situation. Attaches to the active. That was through Shining Arcana. Just double checking all the maths.
Remember that Panic Mask, you cannot put more than 3 on, I would say. Or no, you're going to be Boss's Orders this turn. All right.
Yeah. Okay. That's enough. There's the reversal. There's the Boss's Orders. On to the Umbreon VMAX, the key Pokemon to determine the winner, whether it survived or went down. That is enough energy, 330 damage for the KO. They're just double checking all the maths. Lucas will be down to 1 prize card remaining.
What a knockout here. Going down to 1 prize and getting rid of Christian's only way to knock out that Gardevoir EX. Christian still has 2 turns to grab these knockouts, but now if Lucas has a Boss's Orders for that Radiant Alakazam, the same way he cleaned up the second game, now Lucas can be going in the top 8. What a back and forth this match has been, Pablo.
What a back and forth, and now we see the Iono getting this knockout with the highest HP Pokemon available. Lucas will lose the Gardevoir and will only have Radiant Greninja as a way to get extra cards at this point in time, unless he finds exactly Boss's Orders off of this Iono to 1.
Keep it a secret.
Or an energy. We'll see. Now, the Umbran VMAX did go to the Lost Zone due to the Lost City. Moves the damage around, puts a little bit of extra damage, knocks out the Gardevoir, which will also be going to the Lost Zone. It all comes down to this card right here. What is
Pablo,
it?
Gardevoir EX to the active. Lucas took a peek at the card. Cards go in the Lost Zone. Boss's orders off the top. Super Rod.
Super Rod. What does that get? Zacian. Is the other card an energy? Oh, it could. I think it's research.
Is it research?
I think it is. Or if it's Iono, can you imagine Iono
Lucas is keeping it close to the chest. Professor's Research as the one card off Iono.
7 cards to find Zacian. 2, 4, 6. Not there, but there's still Greninja. Concealed cards. It all comes down to Greninja.
Can the Zacian KO through the Panic Mask?
Oh, it cannot KO through the Panic Mask. It needs Night Energy. That's exactly 180 damage. That's true.
The only out was Boss's orders. Already having played
Panic Mask,
the supporter for a turn, there's no escape rope in the deck, opting for the one switch instead. Concealed cards.
Sealed cards.
Found
There's
the
the
Fog
Fog Crystal. That gets Zacian, but I think Lucas.
So technically would have had the knockout.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Energy
the Panic
on the
Mask.
active.
Prevent all damage done to a Pokemon this card is attached to be attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have 40 HP or less.
Lucas is moving fast, but he is about to have some bad news.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Panic Mask. Panic
and
Mask.
What a play. That second Panic Mask coming in clutch.
The attachment from turn had to go to the Zacian.
I don't even think that made a difference.
Yes. 8 energies from Gardevoir EX. That's 160 damage. Attached for turn.
No.
Zacian would have had 60 HP remaining. The Panic Mask.
Lucas panicked and attached to the Gardevoir.
I think we're having a panic at the table. Yeah, there it is.
And with that, Christian Labella wins this match 2-1 in our round 15 and punches his ticket into the top 8 of the North American International Championships.
Panic Mask. Gonna read that card again. Oh my! I mean, I'm fairly certain this would have happened to me as well. Panic Mask is definitely a very obscure card that we have not seen in ever. I'm pretty sure. Now everyone's gonna know what it does after today. But what a game we just saw. Lucas did find everything he needed, just sequenced it in a less than ideal way.
Insane. What a way to end our Swiss round 15 here in Columbus. Christian Labella moving on.